Hello, I'm Andrew Hara, the host of the Mom Squad. I wanted to tell you about my movies. All are available on Tubi, which is a free streaming service. The last one is a zombie drama about how a pandemic and isolation could drive a group of people mad. When the virus hits, John finds himself alone and scared until he meets Michael, his protector. But when Karina, another survivor, enters the mix, everything that John and Michael knew will be turned on its head. The last one's is a zombie virus movie that's somehow even more relevant today. Plus, it has zombies. Check it out. Borderland is a mexploitation film about living in El Paso. When Sarah finds herself in debt to the cartels, she has until sunrise to find some missing monies with the help of her executioner. Borderland is a true midnight movie and a lot of fun. Finally, the documentary Humble Spirits tells the story of the Hahn family, including champion Jennifer Hahn from El Paso, Texas. The entire Hahn family has grown up in the combat sports and has helped shape who they are both in and out of the ring. Humble Spirits, a family of fighters, is the perfect documentary for boxing fans of all ages. Check out Tubi to watch all my films. Finally, The Empty Space, winner of multiple awards, including the Sacramento Horror Film Festival's Best of the Fest, is a cosmic horror about Amy Andrews, who's dealing with anxiety and depression after a violent attack that killed her husband. As she tries to find herself, she starts to lose her grasp on reality. Or could it be something much more sinister? The Empty Space is full of twists and turns, with Grace DeWilder of Rue Morgue magazine calling it a powerful film full of excellent performances by practically every cast member. All of Andrew Hada's movies are available to rent or buy on streaming services such as Tubi, Amazon, and many other places. We hope that you help support us by watching these films. Now, let's start the Bomb Squad. Welcome to 2024. And if you saw that video before, there's a new teaser on this video, unless Andrew forgot to edit it. But yeah, those are all the movies. They're all on Tubi. Go check them out. Check out The Empty Space. Also, thanks, guys. You guys have really been watching our stuff, which is crazy. Appreciate that. You really adapted to Greg the Bunny and especially Peaches of April for some reason. But either way, we
You like
appreciate it.
IFC stuff. That's the
You know,
trend.
Welcome to 2024. We have a banger for you today.
oh yeah.
Um, we're talking about this is one of the ones that I was like, eventually we are going to talk about this. I saw this movie and then I like called Josh and I was like, you guys need to go see this movie because it's so fucking cool. Um, it is 2019, and then when we describe it, you're gonna be like, "Are you sure that he said cool?" I did.
Trust
Uh,
us.
2019's Serenity, directed by Stephen Knight, who a lot of people say ruined Daredevil, and before that, they say he ruined The Walking Dead. It
Oh,
also stars Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Diane Lane. Wait until we tell
yeah,
you what role Diane Lane is playing. Jason Clark, Jeremy Strong, a Succession
yeah.
reunion with just one person, and then a bunch of other people. You know who it is. It is Serenity. Josh, without spoiling anything at all, tell us what this movie wants to tell us.
I don't think the writer knows what this movie wants to tell us, but it's about Matthew McConaughey as a fisherman and he's searching for the big one on
The
this
big tuna.
tropical island, and it's
So
clearly consumed his
I
entire
I
life.
know what your
Yeah.
first question is, audience. You're like, okay, but what is the meta? Like, you mean that he's searching for the big one, but what do you mean? Like, you don't mean a fish or anything, right? I got some good news for you. We do mean a fish.
It's a
Well,
fish.
we kind of mean it. We should also clarify. Early on in the movie, someone's like, "A fish that big, you better name it." He's like, "It has a name. It's
Yeah.
Justice."
Justice, yes.
I
That's the
forgot
kind
about
of
that.
Also,
Yeah.
movie.
okay,
That
so
never.
let's
Yeah, that works out well.
let's get started on this thing.
Yeah.
Oh well, what did I feel like we can go through what we thought of it as we go along. Andrew
Hmm.
loved it. One of the things that I thought was funny is it kind of uses the same font as Firefly's Serenity movie. And it's
Yeah,
like, why
Oh,
would you use the same
the
font? You're already using
yeah.
the same name, which I think
pseudo
is.
papyrus kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So let
also
me.
nothing involving Serenity in this film, like, at all.
No.
Like,
Is
never
the boat
mentioned.
named Serenity? No,
I don't
it's not.
know.
It's called something else. Okay, let me just tell you about what's going on in this movie.
Did you just
And the
thumbs up
very.
yourself?
I don't know what the hell that was.
Perfect.
Guys, we're
How do
off
I
to a
do
great
that?
start.
Yeah, I want to do that.
At the beginning of this movie, um, Matthew McConaughey, like, so he plays like this fisherman in this like island, and he like takes out rich people to go fish, and he's like, oh,
Hmm.
I'll make sure you get the big fish, and then you can go and tell your rich family. And so they're on one of those trips, and Matthew McConaughey is looking for this big fish whose name is Justice,
Yeah.
and like he thinks they have it based on nothing whatsoever. Like they
Hmm.
catch a fish, and he's like, "That's the fish. It's Justice." And so he's like, "Oh," he tries to catch it, and the rich guys are like, "Hey, man,
That's my
what?
fish.
That's my fish." And so Matthew McConaughey pulls a knife on them.
And this is the first scene in the
This
movie.
is the first thing, and he's
This
like,
is our
"Get the
introduction
fucking
to the
water."
character.
And so then it cuts to like 3 hours later as Matthew McConaughey is still trying to get this fish, and the guys are asleep. And the whole time I was like, what a weird story this would be for the guys, where they're like, yeah, I mean, he did threaten to kill us, but then we just had to hang around for a
Yeah.
while
He was
and
fine
watch
after
him
that.
fail to catch a fish. And so then he's like, got this fish and he's rolling it up, and then he just decides that they should use like a pole. I don't know how fishing works, okay, and I don't think the
Hmm.
writers of this movie do either. But so then like they don't get the fish is the important thing. And
Yeah.
then he gets back and like his partner, who's I'm not even gonna attempt his name. I know what you guys are waiting
Yeah.
for, but it's not
Oh yeah,
happening.
I was wondering. I was like, is Andrew gonna
It's the
say
Yeah.
guy
it
from
right?
Amistad. He was in Guardians of the
Gladiator.
Galaxy. Yeah, he's in Gladiator. It's like
Never back
Digimon
down.
Yeah. Digimon
Hansu.
Hansu. Yeah. That's how I always said it in my head.
Shimon
Shimon Hansu.
Hansu.
Um,
Yeah,
but he's
good
like
actor, really
he
good
Yeah.
like
actor.
Yeah.
comes. Yeah, he's great. He's great in everything.
Yeah.
He comes up to Matthew McConaughey after they like got rid of the rich guys, and he goes, "I just got back from the sheriff. They said since we didn't have a contract with these guys, they don't have to pay us." And in my head, I was like, they probably don't have to pay you because you didn't do the service they were paying you to do.
Right. And
The sheriff probably laughed in your face and then arrested you guys for
yeah.
threatening to murder your
Yeah.
customer.
Out in the middle of the
Yeah,
ocean.
it's almost like pirates being like, "Hey, those people
Yeah.
we were robbing were very
Yeah.
unfair to
It'd be like
us."
if Han Solo went to the Emperor to complain about Jabba the Hutt. It's like that's not gonna happen, guys. You gotta fucking
Yeah.
go
I just need
around.
more time.
And so like, and then on the other end, we're not gonna talk about the twist because I want you to understand how this movie is. And then when the twist comes, we're
Hmm.
gonna go back and be like, remember this part? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So Matthew McConaughey can't pay his bills. So
Hmm.
he does what any Matthew McConaughey would do. He sells his body as a prostitute to Diane Lane,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be like the old lady on the thing. Listen, guys,
Yeah.
you don't hire Diane Lane to be the fucking the old woman. You hire her to be the hottie on this island. What the hell are you doing?
I think
Yeah.
it's like, well, okay, he sleeps with her, and he has to constantly find her cat that's roaming the island.
Not a
Right.
metaphor. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Constance's cat. Help Constance catch the cat. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's one of his jobs.
he does a lot of little odd jobs around the
Catching the
island.
fish,
Yeah.
finding the
Yeah.
cat.
And he's supposed to be paying off his boat, but I think they say he essentially just spends it all on rum and just
Mhm.
drinks himself to sleep every
And he
day.
also like he spends a lot on lures, and apparently because the fish the justice fish that he's trying to catch is a tuna, and nobody wants to catch tuna because they're ugly. But he's like, oh, I'm gonna catch this tuna. But apparently, tuna lures are more expensive or less expensive. I don't know, but he's spending a lot of money on lures.
Right, and he could be going out at night to catch swordfish, which are much more valuable, but he only goes for justice. He has all the
Yeah.
opportunity to like make money, but he just doesn't because
Some would
he's
say he has
obsessed.
a single-minded pursuit of justice.
Right. He
Yeah.
has this one objective that he has to do, and that's all he can do.
So he's living a pretty good life. And
Honestly, it's not
then
that bad, minus
I
the
know
lack of
it's
money.
Yeah,
I was like, hey
it's
man,
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
the
do
only
that.
reason he doesn't have money is because he doesn't want to have money. He can
Right.
have money at any point if he did the right thing.
Yeah. He lives in this
And
cool
also
island, friendly
Jeremy,
people.
yeah, and Jeremy Strong keeps
Oh,
showing up and
yeah.
being like, "Hey, I need to catch him," but he keeps missing him.
Yeah.
And he's
And
wearing a business suit. He looks like
he's
a
wearing-
G-man.
yeah, he looks exactly like the character Jeremy Strong always plays.
Yeah.
And then his ex-wife shows up, played by Anne Hathaway, who looks amazing. Everyone in this movie looks very hot or very like their background characters.
Yeah. They're all like island hot except for Anne Hathaway. She's like city hot
City
on
hot,
vacation. Yeah.
She's very it's like a neo noir, and she's very much like the woman who walks into your detective
She's
agency.
100%
Yeah.
that character.
This
Yeah,
movie is like
it
straight
is.
up. It hits every note in noir, like just
Yeah.
all the time. Like that's what this movie is essentially, for the
Yeah.
most part.
Well,
For the most part,
until
we get to
until
a
the
certain
end.
part.
They go
So,
ham.
I don't
on
even
the
know what
noir.
genre it becomes, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's also funny because there's like a part where Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey had a pretty bad breakup. And so she comes in and he's like annoyed that she's even in his town. And then she goes, "Hey, can we talk? Can we go to dinner or something?" And he goes, "I don't want to talk. I want to know why the hell you're here." And it's like, yeah, it's probably
get there by
she's
talking.
probably going to cover that over dinner.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a conversation.
No,
We-
that's
we
probably
should-
exactly what you
We
want.
should clarify. His name is Baker Dill. Matthew
His
McConaughey's
name
Yes.
is
character.
Baker Dill.
Baker
And,
What,
Dill.
did a child make up that name?
And
They used to be
she's
John.
she's like, going by Baker Dill. I knew you when you were John Mason. It's like both of those names sound like fake.
Yeah.
It's like I knew when you were John Cobra Rattlesnake.
All that venom. But whenever she says that she knows he's Baker Dill because they had a teacher named Dylan Baker, and it was the only teacher he ever respected. And so you're like, well, this must have had a huge impact on his life, this Dylan Baker. And it's the only time
Right.
he's ever mentioned.
The only teacher that I can
actually there
the
is
only
one
teacher
more.
that
Oh,
I
is
can
it
even
mentioned again?
remember.
Yeah.
The only teacher I can even remember his name is Gay. So that's gonna be my incognito name, I guess.
So,
So then you find out that his wife or his ex-wife is like being beat by her new husband, who's like a rich guy,
a rich
And so
criminal.
a rich criminal whose crimes. Do they ever tell us what his crimes are, or just generic?
Organized
he's
crime.
He's kind of just evil in
Yeah.
every way a human being can't like.
Yeah.
It's not even like the because he's super abusive. But it's not even
Physically,
like
mentally.
she did something wrong, so he it's
Yeah,
like
when
literally he just
he-
starts
he
gets-
hitting her.
He
Just
gets
for
there
fun.
and like he takes off all her clothes and he like inspects every inch of her body and then he finds like a scratch that she did, like that she doesn't know how she got it, but she like got a scratch on her leg. And so then he beats her with a belt and it's like, isn't that going to exacerbate things?
Yeah.
He's basically the devil, and I will
Yeah.
say that Jason Clarke does do quite a good job.
He's
as
very sweaty.
the literal devil.
Yeah.
And
And so
he
she's
was
like,
prepping for Oppenheimer later with this role.
yeah. So she was like, okay, I'll give you $10 million if you murder this guy. He wants to go fishing or something. And so he's like, well, he's abusive and I hate him, but I'm conflicted for some reason. And then
That's
the movie.
also an absurd amount of money to pay
Yeah.
someone for that kind of accident. But
Listen. When you hire Dylan Baker,
like, did a child come up with this amount of money?
Look, justice and serenity are priceless. They're worth the 10 mil.
you're not looking for. And then there's like a part where he goes like if you think that the clerk at the bait shop isn't going to have a major role, well, you're wrong. And then like there's a part where Diane Lane is talking to him. I wrote this line down because this is so he's a prostitute, and then she calls him a hooker, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm a hooker who can't afford hooks."
Yeah.
As soon as they said that line, I was like, top 10 movie of the year, baby,
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
on.
I mean, I will say that
Um,
even though this movie is fucking crazy, like I couldn't stop watching it, even the
it's
second
so
time.
yeah,
It's like
it's
Oh,
so
it's
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 fun.
like
it's just so
this is my
good in a weird
it's my
way.
first time rewatching it,
It's
and even knowing how totally insane the twist is. It's a bad twist.
yeah.
Let's
Hmm.
but anyway, um, you're like, oh, this is like incredible.
And then so like
I will never
then
look away.
Diane Lane is like she calls him a prostitute. He says, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to do something," and she's like, "Oh, you shouldn't go yet. I still have to blow you." And then she's like, "Oh, I wanna see your little kitty cat," and I was like, "You shouldn't call someone's penis a kitty cat." Like this
She
movie,
had to find it.
I want to be clear. This movie feels like a movie that Jack Donaghy would pitch to Liz Lemon and be like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Tracy Morgan
absolutely.
is in this new
Hmm.
movie called Serenity about a fish captain who's hunting a fish named Justice." Um,
So then we get to a part where he goes skinny dipping. Matthew McConaughey to clear his head after all this
yes,
garbage. He jumps off of this huge cliff that's right next to his house with this idyllic view of the ocean, and he's swimming naked, suspended in water. And then
yeah.
all of a sudden, this little boy comes out of the void. And then all of a sudden, that little boy is sitting at a computer. And then all of a sudden, Baker Dill wakes up in bed. Awake.
What?
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 Who's
Yeah.
that
And
little
so
kid?
after that, and again, keep in mind, he was swimming butt ass naked.
Butt ass
So
naked.
if you like Matthew McConaughey and you want to see him butt ass naked, this movie's for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so he wakes up, and then like things start getting weird. Like the Jeremy Strong keeps missing him, and he has to tell him something important. He's like every time, like everything starts seeming to like talk to him, kind of like Vanilla Sky, where like at one point the
Yeah.
radio's like, "Hey, you got to go catch that fish," you know.
Catch the
Right.
fucking fish.
And
Like
so like
everyone knows his
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
situation. They even know the situation with his wife and like
yeah.
her
Hmm.
abusive husband.
And
Everybody
let
on
me
the
just
island knows
say,
everything.
yeah,
Right.
and there's like a part where like everyone, like the toolbox lady, literally knows every single thing that's happening. Um, and so then, like when Jeremy Strong finally meets him, he's like, "Hey, you got to follow these rules. Here's the like thing that will help you catch the fish, like for sure."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, I don't want this fish. I'm gonna kill this guy instead because I love my wife." And then they're like, "No, you can't do that." And so he's like conflicted, but then Anne Hathaway comes into his house and they have sex. And then he goes, he tells her after he climaxes, he tells her, "I beat him, I win." Which, like, guys, I don't know. We're not a relationship podcast,
Yeah.
but if you're in a relationship with someone, or even if you're not, if you've just finished having intercourse with someone, don't talk about their boyfriend or girlfriend in terms of whether you beat them or not.
I also want
Yeah.
you to keep in mind this scene where he has extremely degrading sex with his ex-wife and then tells her he wins. With the context of the twist, you're about to find out
Yeah.
what this movie
So
is.
then he decides like I'm gonna kill the guy. And
Yeah.
then he and so like but then like the whole town seems to be turning against him. Everyone keeps trying to
They're
stop him
giving him
like
reasons. Yeah, like Diane Lane's son shows up. He's like, "Hey, if you take me out today, you're gonna catch the fish because I'm lucky," and stuff like
yeah.
And he
that. Like,
pops up
And
in the
then
middle of the road out of nowhere. He didn't even like
yeah.
ride a bike out there. It's like in the middle of a
yeah,
cornfield. He just runs up.
And keep in mind Matthew McConaughey is not fooled by any of this. Every time something happens he like guesses exactly how it's going down.
Yeah.
And so then, like, yeah, the tackle box lady is like, "Hey, you should use this thing that Jeremy Strong tried to give you yesterday. Now I have it for some reason. Isn't that weird?" And then
Catch
the
the
radio
fish.
starts talking to him, and so he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna do this." And I think at one point he literally says, like, "If they're changing the rules, then I gotta play the game." It's like,
Yeah.
all
Oh, and he
right, you,
also has he's consumed two fifths of rum in this one day.
yes,
In about an hour, he has
yeah,
consumed two full
yeah.
bottles of rum.
A normal amount
and
of
then
rum, you're saying,
It's like what a
right?
child would think that an adult could actually handle when it
yeah,
comes to drinking rum. Not everybody
and
is
then
Johnny Depp.
there's like a part where the guy's like one of the dock guys is like, "Hey man, I filled your car with, or do you want me to put some beers in your car?" And Matthew McConaughey's like, "No, I want rum." And the guy's like, "Oh, I thought you didn't like to drink that much on the boat." And I was like, "Are you supposed to drink at all if you're driving the boat? Is that your?"
You can on Plymouth Island.
And then nobody knows where Plymouth Island is, and like
He,
every time you ask them,
He
they
doesn't remember
freeze.
how
Like
he
Matt,
got there.
right, and
like
he
Matthew
checks the map.
McConaughey.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
checks a map that just
It's
literally doesn't
used.
have anything around it. It's like, why would you make this map if you're trying to trick them?
Yeah.
And
So
so
now we don't know
then,
what's up with
See,
Plymouth. It's
if
out in the
you're
open.
if you're like, okay, I don't know, it's there's a part where we glossed over this, but he takes the Jason Clark out fishing more than once.
Oh
oh yeah, it
Jason
takes
yeah,
Clark
him out
yeah,
the
yeah,
first time.
Jason Clark kind of spells out what the twist will be, but then it's another 30 minutes before they really like go hard on it.
yeah,
And guys,
Because you find out he has a son with Anne Hathaway.
yeah,
yeah.
Um,
McConaughey does.
and Jason, it is funny because Jason Clark's like, I try to connect to him. It's like I've only seen you like savagely beat the woman you're married to. There's no way you're
Right.
like playing catch with him.
Yeah.
and keep in mind that in between him talking about his dumb kid or his dumb stepson, Jason Clark's like, "Hey man, I heard you could have sex with 10-year-olds in the other island.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go have
Yeah.
Right
sex
in
with
the
10-year-olds.
ass.
Oh, for $10, you could
Yeah.
have sex with girls in their ass that are
But
young."
he
And he's like,
says like young girls though. It's like
"Yeah."
he's a pedophile for sure.
The implication is
The
he's literally
implication.
every sin.
And then he's
on
like, "Oh, do you
him.
guys want to
He's-
go?"
And they're like, I don't know anything about that, sir.
Listen, again, we don't give advice on this podcast, but if you're gonna go have sex with a prostitute, maybe don't invite strangers with you. Like,
Yeah, especially if
breaking
it's like an illegal prostitution situation.
yeah,
Like
especially
very
if
bad.
you're a jackass. Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
it.
um,
So then, like on the second time, Anne Hathaway's also there, and they're like, "Oh," and then the nephew's there, but for really no reason.
he's not.
And
He could not be in this
they
movie.
have
Not
they
better.
they have justice, and Jason Clark's like, "Oh, I got him," and he's like reeling him in, and he's like tied into the boat because when it's a big enough fish, you tie yourself to the boat so the fish doesn't take you. And then Matthew McConaughey like gets him and he like unhooks him and he goes, "This was my justice, but now it's yours," and he lets him go. And in a pretty cool
Oh,
scene,
I missed that line.
Jason Clark gets sent in the water, and then
Yeah.
like the fish is just big enough, it just drags them down into the abyss.
Into the depths.
Yeah.
Well, this is okay. So it keeps cutting back to a child in front of a computer,
Hmm.
and as he's killing Jason Clark, you hear this child's parent, like his father, in another room abusing his mother.
Yeah.
You see him grab a giant knife and unsheath it and leave the
So-
room.
It's the same knife that McConaughey threatened the first guys with.
Right.
So here's the twist: Matthew McConaughey is a an Iraqi war vet
yeah.
who was killed many years ago, and then Anne Hathaway is the mom, and they had this kid, and the dad is abusive, but he might not be a criminal. We don't know how much of that
All we
part
know
is
is
true.
the dad
Yeah.
hits the mom. We never see the real dad.
Mm-mm.
Right.
We see a
And
photo of Anne
so
Hathaway, but
he's-
that's it.
But we
Yeah.
also know the
a
son
photo
is
of
a
Matthew
literal,
McConaughey. Yeah.
like autistic computer genius who has built this entire game.
He's created artificial intelligent game of a fishing game
Yeah, on
so
Plymouth
that his
Island,
dad can live on in this hellscape.
just catching fish all day.
And like, keep in mind,
Well,
okay, guys,
because
again,
before his dad went to war, they fished once, so that's like all he remembers
Oh,
about.
they
his
yeah,
fished
dad.
once,
yeah.
and his dad got unreasonably mad, so that's why Baker Dillon's always mad in this game. And
Yeah,
like, keep
and
in
a
mind,
hard
okay,
drinker. Like, not a good
I-
guy, not a good dad.
Yeah.
I want you to
Oh,
think about
shit.
this movie. We're like, okay, again, we're not a relate. Maybe we are going to be in a.
We are today. We are
podcast.
today.
If you're making a game about your father and your mother, don't make your dad into a literal prostitute who has to
Mhm.
sell his body. And then also, for some reason, you're writing into the code your dad's like perfectly chiseled ass as he's swimming
Yeah.
in the water with you. And then don't have him degrade your mom sexually as
Yeah.
she's getting beat by someone else.
Hmm.
Just like, make him play Mario Brothers. What the
That's
fuck?
the way. Like,
Right,
okay,
yeah,
this
make him a
I will
superhero.
say, this twist is insane because essentially the kind of idea is that, I mean, it's like he's building himself up in his mind to kill his abusive stepdad
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
like acting it out in this game 1st.
Hmm.
But there's really no reason the game would be trying to stop him unless that's just a different part of his
He's
own like psyche that's
so
Yeah.
he's trying to stop the game for some reason. I guess he doesn't want to kill his dad.
but
But
like the game wouldn't be doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Unless there were
Okay,
two
guys.
programmers, which obviously
Let
there
me
aren't.
ask you this. Here's how I saw this the first time. When I watched this the first time, they did the twist. Here's what I think could have happened. The stepdad was not abusive. The kid has made all of this up in his head, including that the stepdad is abusive. He's just a little psychopath, and he went and killed his perfectly fine stepdad to death because his older dad was super mean, according to him and
Yeah.
to the dad.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's just kind of continuing the trend, and so he's murdering it. That's how I read it the first time. I don't
I
know
mean,
if that's how.
no, okay, like
that's not. I think it's too far off. That's pretty good.
he gets arrested and there is a news report, and as the news report's like playing on just a random TV, it's like panning over his room that's now empty because he gets arrested for killing his dad.
Yeah.
And they're like, the this child, is in juvie for killing his dad. His principal at the high school, Dylan Baker,
Oh.
says that the kid
Yeah.
is a mathematical genius,
Mhm.
but like troubled or some shit.
He said he
And then the
lives in a
mom,
home. He comes out and says it for sure.
Oh,
the
that's right.
the mom, and then the mom's like, "Oh, the dad has been abusing us," but then it's like it just cuts to like the son is Patrick. By the way, they say the name Patrick a million times. They
Yeah.
cuts to Patrick in like juvie, I guess, just
Mhm.
a detention facility, staring at nothing, and then it cuts back and he's imagining like reuniting with his dad,
Yeah.
and it's like, does that mean he's killing himself in here, or he's
It's
just
Right.
also
Right.
like,
completely insane?
if you think about it, like at the
If he
end
can
of
imagine all this, does it need to be a game he made?
at
You
the
know,
end of
like
Taxi Driver, spoiler alert, the newspapers tell you like whether he got exonerated or not. Where at the end of this one, he's still awaiting trial. Like, hey,
Mhm.
Stephen Knight, you can cut to whatever point in time you want to. You don't
Yeah.
have to literally cut to when he's still awaiting trial. Just say that he got off in self-defense.
yeah, and then he like
Right.
went back to the game, and it's like it feels very much like halfway through. He's like, oh, what if the twist is this kid like loves video games, but he didn't like know what a video game was. The
Right.
writer, it is like
Yeah.
I'm
He's
just
an
gonna
old
put
ass
some
man
stuff.
too. He's
Yeah,
like
it's
60
very.
years old.
I really do want to hear
See, what I
like
think happened was that he wrote this movie about a fish and a fisherman. And then he realized he only had 60 pages.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real Moby
So,
Dick tale at the beginning. Like
he
just
needed
straight
30
up
more
only
pages.
noir.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Because,
Classic
like, again,
story.
trying to think about it in, like, terms of other movies that are similar, like, if you look at Sixth Sense, the fact that Bruce Willis is, sorry, guys, we're going to spoil Sixth Sense. The fact that Bruce Willis is dead at the end of that movie plays into the rest of the movie,
Mhm.
like, with the wife and all that. In this one, the fact that it's a game has no bearing on the actual
It
plot
Yeah.
doesn't.
of the
It's
movie.
just a
It's like
twist. They don't
it's
build
like
it
a
up. They don't make
noir. It's a
anything.
normal noir until
Yeah.
it becomes about a video game.
But
Right.
even when it becomes a video game, the video game does not push the story forward in any way. It's a completely separate story outside of the story we're watching.
No.
Yeah, it's like they had some like
It's-
extra footage that someone shot for a different film, and they were just like, "Well, we can just transpose this kid into the movie, I guess."
So,
And
Yeah.
like,
that's
It's a real
what we ended
Target
up with.
situation.
like the
Yeah,
metaphor of like, oh, the cycle of abuse or whatever, and like that could like you could have just not had a video game and just had the movie be about Matthew McConaughey and then metatextually be about that. Like
yeah.
it's
Right.
you don't need that framing at all
Hmm.
because it's already a pretty standard
Like
story, but it works.
if they
Right,
had
like
kept the story and then maybe done like, oh, maybe the twist is that Matthew and Anne actually never fell out of love and they like have been planning this murder so they could get the money for like 20 years or something. I don't
yeah,
know. Something
But,
else.
but like you could even had like, oh, Matthew McConaughey, like it's too late for him, but he doesn't want to like ruin Diane Lane's like innocent son, but it's
Yeah,
like by the time Diane Lane's son shows up, it's like, well, we already know he's like a fake video game character. Why do we give
right.
a shit about this kid?
Yeah.
Like,
And also, keep
yeah.
in mind that twist I mentioned would have made this movie worse. This movie is perfect because of how bonkers ridiculous it
Oh, it's
gets.
I mean,
insane.
yeah, totally,
It's like
Like,
totally.
what
there's
it
a
what it's
part where
It's
there's a part
unforgettable.
where he's standing in like an empty house and the house is like building around him and it's like,
Yeah,
what do you think video games are, Steven?
I know. It looks like an internet commercial, like an ad
what
for like Xfinity. Like,
it's
yeah,
it's literally
Oh my god,
renovator
like,
it's like the
home.
current Matthew McConaughey AI ads. If you've seen those, they're
Oh
Super
yeah,
no.
Bowl. It's like that. Now I do want to like someone to ask Matthew McConaughey what this movie's about, like if he even knows, or if he was
Yeah.
just like, "Hey, I got to film on a tropical island for 3 weeks. That's all I give a shit about."
I was
I
drinking two
know.
bottles of rum a day. I have no idea.
I know it's like he got to live his beach bum life that he loves, and
Yeah.
this movie made that happen.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like like with a twist, like if we're gonna take this movie seriously for just a second, like if you put a twist in a movie, like there has to be something about video games if it's gonna be a video game twist, or like some kind of
Right.
like allusion to like so you're not just totally caught off guard. And it's like this movie just it's so crazy how this got made and like how they actually wrote it because it's just like it's impossible. It's an impossible script to read and for anyone to say like fuck yeah. Like unless this was like 4 hours long and like they just cut
Right.
the shit out of it. Like this I I saw this with a group of friends back in Austin and like we all left just dumbfounded and
It's
like
baffling. I
yeah,
was
it was
and,
like
and
no
I
one
and I
expected it to be
honestly
good, but like
thought
not
when I
that
was
crazy.
rewatching it, I was like, oh, that like knowing the twist is gonna ruin this because it's so insane. But I was like gut laughing when he's
Yeah.
like going to kill his stepfather when like Matthew McConaughey's killing the husband. I was just like, oh my god, this is the best. Like this is
It's
insane.
it's
Yeah.
like the
It's
minute that
so
Matthew
good.
McConaughey jumps off of the cliff but naked for absolutely no reason whatsoever, you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this movie's trying to do
Yeah.
anymore. And I thought I did up until this point.
I
And
do
then like
think
it never
that
ends. Like, you're always like, okay, but what are you doing?
that's
Right.
almost the scene where the scriptwriter ran out of ideas and is like, what if it's a video game? And then all he did was just put some shots of Jeremy Strong
Yeah.
chasing him like before that. Because
Yeah.
And then I
no, and
like how Jeremy Strong is clearly supposed to be dressed as the bunny from Alice in Wonderland. It's like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
but
He's the
like
rules. Is his
that's what
character, I
like
think.
I would like if this game existed, it would be like legitimately great. Like if it was just like a beach bum island fisherman simulator, I
With a
would love to
thriller
play
element.
this game.
Yeah.
You catch the
Yeah.
cat, you have sex with like the town woman,
Diane Lane. Her name is just
That's
Diane
like
Lane in the game.
yeah. It's
You have
very
sex with
like
your wife.
yeah, it's just it's like that would be a great game.
Yeah,
I
it'd
don't
be
know if
fun.
it's a great movie, but it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even the amounts, which is like, I'll give you 10 million. It's like, oh yeah, that is like the amount a child would think.
Right.
Right,
This
right.
is the right amount
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to like
Even
pay
like
someone.
who drinks rum anymore? Like, was he Jack Sparrow? Like, what the
People
fuck?
on the island,
Right.
bro.
It's
They're on the island time. Island
Everything
Bev.
is so like, and that's the funny thing is, like, I can understand a child naming the fish Justice,
Mm-hmm.
but this was written by a grown adult.
Yeah.
or he knows that Jason Clark's supposed to be a bad guy, so he's not like he's just the worst man alive. Like he's
Right.
not even a little bit normal like a
Yeah.
person. He's literally
Yeah.
like Satan.
And it's
Yeah.
one of those things where like it's so funny because Jason Clark is like talking about having sex with prostitutes. He's like beating his wife, and then he's like talking to Matthew McConaughey. He's like, "Yeah," and then my stupid brat stepson like won't play baseball with me. It's like
He only wants to
that's
play
not
video games. He just types away on his
it's not your
computer all
character.
day.
Yeah. It's so funny, and the way Jason Clark delivers it, it's like once you watch it again, you're like, "Oh,
Right
he's
here.
really dialing this in." You know?
Yep.
Everyone's like, I don't know, because I almost feel like the acting in this movie is like at 100,000% for everyone's going hard into like the leaning into the tropes,
Yeah.
which I love. It's like
Sure.
you need that for this kind of movie.
Mhm.
So it's really good. It's really
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
good movie. It's a lot of fun.
it's
It almost
fascinating.
like it makes more sense once. I would say try to go in blind. I know you if you're at this point, you
You've
probably haven't.
already
Yeah.
ruined yourself.
But
Yeah.
it's a fun time if you can get a bunch of friends to watch it together because there's like no way your friends are gonna believe what
Yeah.
happens in this
You have
movie.
any like?
It's very
I almost
important to
feel
do that
like
for sure.
this is one where if someone's gonna watch it, they probably already checked the Wikipedia, which immediately spoils it. So it's like
Oh.
you can be the one who doesn't spoil it for your
Right,
friends,
right.
but it's too late
Right.
for you. You know.
Yeah. It's also like 90 minutes. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's
Oh
truly
yeah, and it's on
unforgettable.
Tubi. It's
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
I'm
So
surprised
Yes.
that people don't like talk about this movie more. Like I'm surprised it's not like a cult classic of like I don't know, Rage or something like that, you know? Like The Room.
I think it will be eventually.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You know
just
what
It's
it
kind of
so
so
crazy.
bonkers.
it
Yeah.
weirdly reminded me of that HBO show Watchmen. Did
Oh, I
either of
saw
you
that.
see?
Yeah.
Where like at first that show's about racism, but then at the end it's like, what if Dr. Manhattan was traveling
Oh,
backwards through time? It's like, well,
yeah.
that twist doesn't really make the racism matter at all. Why why did you do that?
Yeah. For
And
Serenity's sake.
it does like it does feel like the whole time that the director was writing, he was like, well, what if this happened? What if
Yeah.
but he never like went back and thought like, no, what if that happened?
Yeah.
Right. Because I love like Jeremy, yeah, Jeremy Strong's like the rules. He's literally the
He's the
game
rules,
rules.
yeah.
But like it doesn't really impact what he says or does. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
Jeremy Strong's really good in this too. It's almost like it's a shame that the actors are just giving so hard and this movie flopped, you know.
Maybe like the game is like an actual Steam game and the kid is like rewriting the code
See,
in
at
the game to
first
exist.
they
Oh,
like that's
they
what I
do
think
imply
like
that for a second.
the writer
Yeah.
didn't know what video games were because he thinks you can just make one. But if it was just a kid
Mhm.
playing a game and then the kid just like making up his new rules for the game, that makes more
Right.
sense
That would be
than
cool.
kind of where it goes.
Yeah.
See, but like, yeah, and I think like he would have had to know a little bit more about video games. Like, they should have had, like, maybe Matthew McConaughey looks like someone else for a second because it's like, oh yeah, he's even changed the code so that it looks like his dad, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as it is, it like starts by looking at his dad, and you're like, wait,
He finds a picture of like a different guy that's like
yeah,
on his
Right,
boat or
but
something.
yeah, in this one he's already like a military veteran who has PTSD, and yeah, it's like
Yeah.
exactly his dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody make the Serenity actual game on Steam,
Would
and I
play.
will
Yeah.
play it, and I'll
Yeah.
I'll have a
it'd be the
great
most
time.
confusing game ever.
Yeah. But unforgettable at the same time.
But very good, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but this movie, I mean, it's like 100% what because like it's not good, but it's
Yeah.
like if you watch, like no one, it's unforgettable and it's
Yeah.
very fun to watch. It's very fun to say you watched. It's kind of like that Robert Pattinson at the end. It's 9/11 movie where it's like it's not really worth it to watch it, but once you watch that scene, you're like, oh no, this made up for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like of the like 8 movies you could watch that Matthew McConaughey only did so he could kind of be on a tropical vacation during it. This is one of the best ones.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And the only thing
you know,
that's crazy
it's-
about this movie is the writing. Like the acting isn't even that bad. Like
know,
it's like a
like-
pretty good movie. But like just
No,
It's
yeah,
like
everything's
the
good.
locations are good. His
It
like
looks
all like
cool.
the sets and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
It's also like, hey, how come no one can ever make a normal movie about living on an island?
I know. Just something nice.
I know.
Yeah.
It's got a, even like 51st Dates, he's like tricking his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
The
There's
Descendants is kind of that.
Hey. Yeah.
A Descendant.
That's a good one. Clune Dog.
Got
Yeah.
Jurassic Park is just about a bunch of people going to visit a park.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun time. I would say watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Check out Matthew McConaughey's hot buns. He like gets naked more than anyone else in this movie.
Yeah. Totally.
Also, he's like just never wearing a belt, so his pants are always like
Yeah.
sagging.
I do
Yeah.
like it's like
Ladies?
hard R, which just makes the twist even
Yeah.
funnier that it's like a
Yeah.
10-year-old who's
Yeah.
like crafting it.
Like, yeah, if you
It is,
like show
man.
this to your friends, don't spoil it for them. But when you're watching it, in the back of your mind, everything that happens, keep in mind that a 10-year-old's writing that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna make
About
the
his own
enjoyment
dad.
even better.
It's,
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you, after I watched that movie, a lot of the fun I had was just sitting there and like imagining like scenes and then imagining a 10-year-old like thinking of that scene because it made me laugh every single
Yeah.
You know, like yeah, they talk about how like the only cop on the island isn't there, and it's like a 10-year-old wouldn't come up with this. I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
also like
He's a pretty
originally
creative kid.
it's supposed to be just a fishing game, so it's like why do you have all these other characters?
Hmm.
Why is there
Why is
like a
there a
permanently
prostitute
drunk
angle to your
doctor?
fishing game? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd be like if you play fucking Candy Crush and just halfway through you have to sell drugs and it's like, oh,
Yeah, I guess. Candy's out.
yeah.
I got some cavities.
But yeah,
Oh man.
Well.
a lot of fun. Welcome to 2024,
Yeah.
guys. We're gonna have even more fun movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we have. Well, thank you guys for watching, for subscribing. Every episode, we're getting more subscribers, so that's super cool. Thank you
Yeah.
for the people who are listening on Spotify. You're not as many, but you're still there. We appreciate you.
Bam.
Yeah, come. We're gonna have some fun stuff. More deep dives this year. I'm planning them out. More episodes. We're gonna do our end of the year soon, so check that out. But yeah, welcome back to the Bomb Squad, guys, and we'll see you on the bomb side.
That's not anything.
Yep. Bomb track.
What if every episode I ended it and I was like, "We'll see you guys later on the Bomb Squad." I know some Japanese people who aren't happy about that, and then everyone claps like an Oppenheimer.
It's good.
That's
what
the
you
only
just
bomb. That's the only bomb line I know, guys. Unless you want me to quote Godzilla. Yeah,
You're putting me
we'll
in a
see
real
you
hurt
guys
locker right now.
next-